Hello, I'm the person of Isaac Jimado, and I welcome you into my next episode as far as the automobile spare parts importation business is concerned. If you have been wondering the various categories to venture into, then I have good news for you. Let me just take a commercial break. When I'm back, I'll present to you the very categories within the automobile spare parts importation business. I welcome you back from my commercial break. So here are some of the main categories within the automobile spare parts importation business, as I said earlier. So the very first on my list that I will urge each and everyone to go into, that is, if you think you want to go into, is the engine parts. Within the automobile spare parts, there are, or we even take a vehicle or a car, for instance, we have the engine parts. So you can consider going into the pistons, the cylinder blocks. You can think of also going into the crankshaft, yes, or the camshaft, the engine mount, and other components within this very category as far as the automobile spare parts importation business is concerned. That notwithstanding too, you can also think of going into the transmission and gearbox parts. Yes, so you can also look at the gearbox, the transmission, and other related components within this very category. The next on my list is brake systems. You see, within the automobile spare parts industry, a lot of people are having problems as far as their brake systems is concerned, as to whether the hand brake or the foot brake. So you can go into things like the brake pads. You can look at the calipers, the brake drums, and other brake related components. You can just make a research around some of these categories that best fit within your market. Then you look at some of those things and you are very good to go. The next on my table is suspension and steering. So you can look at things like the shock absorbers, the springs, the steering racks, and other suspension and steering components. So you see, when I'm just giving you these categories, so within your own free will, you can make some research within those things. So for instance, if you are choosing a category like the suspension and steering, as I said earlier, you can make some research around those areas. I'm just giving you these categories, so within your own free will, you can make some research within those things. So for instance, if you are choosing a category like the suspension and steering, as I said earlier, you can make some research around those areas. So as I said in my previous episodes, like carving a niche for yourself and all that, or doing your market research and analysis, having gotten to know all those things, it will also enable you to know the very category where the demand is high but limited in supply. Number 5 on my list is the electrical and electronics. Yes. So you can go into things like the batteries, the starters, alternators, spark plugs, and other electrical and electronic components. Yes, you can look at some of these things. Let me lay some emphasis here. You see, the very vehicles or the trucks or cars that are coming of late, sometimes the manner in which they've designed them or developed them with the integration of softwares into them, sometimes the car may develop a certain problems or a certain challenge that you can't just do try and error. So there are certain devices, that's the car diagnostics. Those things are very limited. They are just a few from my research, from my observations and research that I have personally done. So when you bring some of these things into it, and these cars that are there, they develop a problem. Sometimes on the dashboard it will give some error code that you need these car diagnostics to detect the very challenge that the car is facing, and you know the exact place where the problem is coming from, and you go get it solved. One may say that you are not a technician, You are not a technician. You are not one who repairs cars and all what have you. Yes, but as one person who you have the nitty gritty as far as the importation business is concerned. Technicians are there that they don't have access to some of these things. If the will is there and they can get places where they can buy all those things, they will get access to them and use it to work. As far as you are gaining knowledge in this very space, you can consider some of these things and you are very good to go. The next on my list is the body and chassis. So in this category, some of the things that you can consider going into is the bumpers, the fenders, the hoods, and other body and chassis components. The next on my list is the interior and exterior accessories. That's the seats, the dashboard, the trim kits, the mirror, and other interior and exterior accessories. So in this very tutorial or in this very episode, when we dive into the practical aspect of it, as I said earlier, from the beginning of this classes or training, I'm going to give out reliable suppliers that they deal in these interior and exterior accessories as far as the automobile spare parts importation business is concerned. The next on my list or on my table is the wheels and tires. So you can consider the wheels, the tires, the wheel bearing, and other wheel and tire components. All these categories that I'm giving, I'm laying emphasis on it again. They are categories that you will know the various aspects or the various category you need to go into if you watched the previous the first training, or how do you call it, the factors to consider when going into the the automobile spare parts importation business. I think the first thing I spoke about was the market research and analysis. So when you know all these things and all that, that is where you will know that, okay, this is the very category that you are supposed to go into. So without much ado, let's take a look at the next category: air conditioning and cooling systems. You see, these automobiles, vehicles, the cars that are coming, they've done this air conditions into it and the cooling systems. So you see people that drive these private cars or even the heavy duties, they roll their glasses and they are in there cool. So the AC is keeping them so comfortable, and the cooling systems and all that. So you can look at things within this very category like the compressors, the condensers, the evaporators, and other air conditioning and cooling systems. Yeah, you can look at some of these things and you're good to go. Number 10 on my list is the exhaust systems. So you can look at the mufflers, the exhaust pipes, and other exhaust systems within this very category. You can do your own research around some of these things like the exhaust system. What are the things that falls under the exhaust system? You can just look at some of these things. Yeah, guys. So one thing for sure, this category offers wide range of opportunities for entrepreneurs and businesses looking to venture into the automobile industry. So when you consider some of these things and you look at them, I think you can make a worthwhile profit as far as the automobile spare parts importation business is concerned. These are some of the things that I have presented to you. You can also use your discretion and look around it. Or when you do this a substantive research, I think you also come out to know some of the things that you have to go, or the very category within the automobile spare parts importation business that you have to dive into. So I come to the end of this very tutorial. As I always say, if you find value in this very tutorial, click on the like button, share a comment. Let me know your comment, because it is your comment that gives the morale. Oh yes, once again, you are watching this live on Morning Smile GH, and I'm in the person of Isaac Jimado, in case you don't know my name. Oh yeah, so let us socialize. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section, and see you in my next episode. Bye bye.